Now we goes to the part 4 of this module, which is we'll be discussing on the transportation. Okay, as we know, transportation is very important because it is one of the tool that we use in moving one place to another place, either moving people, moving goods, or others. Okay, so actually, the transportation system it links geographically to the company's supply chain, either customers, suppliers, channel members, plants, or retail outlets. And we can say that transportation facilitates the creation of time and place utility in the logistic itself by using several modes like as truck, train, ship, pipeline, or fiber optics wire. So in this part, we will discuss more on what are the roles that placed by the transportation in the logistic process and why do it is very important. Okay, what are the rules of transportation in logistic or supply chain? Actually, rationally, we can say that transportation is moving some things, okay, it's moving people, moving goods from origin point to the destination. Okay, so in logistic process, what are the rules of transportation? Okay, the first one, transportation is objectively want to ensure that the availability of the service. Okay, so it is looks like it's very critical for the logistician to fulfill the demand, to fulfill the requirements of the customers, needs of the customers. So transportation it play its role in ensure that the kind of service is available. And of course, it will indirectly meet the customer's requirement as well as the customer's satisfaction. Okay, so let's say in one situation there is a delay in the transportation itself, so actually it will affect the in terms of time utility. Okay, it will affect, maybe it will delay the it will delay the time, it will extend the time that the products that needs to reach the end user. Okay, so in ensure all the hiccups in the transportation, the delays in the transportation must be efficient because it will promote the competitiveness of the logistic activities. So what are the challenges in the transportation? Um, the logisticians needs to look into the growth of outsourcing, which is the transportation process actually is to connect the buyers and the sellers, which is quite far away. Okay, there are thousands of miles apart, so they need to think about how to make decision in choosing the right transport. Okay, and the second one, in terms of customer demands, is also quite challenges to the transportation process, to the transportation activities, which is the customer demands is quite crucial to be managed by is quite crucial and it need to be managed very well by logistician, okay, because it will affect in terms of the customer satisfaction, and also it will reflect the image of the organization. Okay, so why I say that customer demands is becomes challenges to the transportation transportation process is due to the changes in the customer behavior, because nowadays we see that customers more demanding and they want everything to be fast and imperfect. Okay, so they want to as to make sure that the goods that they are bought either through online or offline are defect free. Okay, there's no defection to the goods, and so we can say that the customer demands actually the demanding for the tailored services and defect free delivery. Okay, so in fact the desire for real-time shipment visibility, it requires the technological strength. Okay, and the third one, the challenges in terms of transportation capacity. Okay, capacity in terms of demands, there are so increase in demand, it will outstrips the capacity in terms of port facilities, maybe maybe because due to congested highways. Okay, hiring and retaining enough truck drivers, it also becomes very challenging to the transportation process. Okay, and in terms of outcomes of capacity crunch include higher freight rates, shipment delays, and limited in terms of negotiating capabilities. Okay, so what else? Try in your opinion, what else the challenges that will be faced in the transportation process? The challenges also with in terms of costs, because nowadays we can see the rates for the transportation is rising, so the capacity shrunk due uh, to greater demand for transportation services and industry consolidation from the carrier mergers, acquisition, and bankruptcies. And the transportation risk is rising due to the rising cost of labor, insurance, and as well as other expenses. Okay, and obviously the transportation process is facing the challenges in terms of government requirements. Okay, because it will affect the cost structures and service capabilities. There are different modes of transportation that being used in the transportation process in the logistic. Okay, usually the modes that are being used is truck. The modes that are being used are truck, rails, air, water, pipeline, and intermodal. Actually, the differences of these modes of transportation, it is depends to the types of the goods that being carried. Okay, so it is also depends to the cost. Okay, in example, uh, the transportation through air is expensive compared to the transportation through by truck. Okay, but then if let's say we are the retailers and locating in Semenanjung, Peninsula Malaysia, uh, it is impossible to get the goods by truck, to get the goods from Sabah Sarawak by using the truck. Okay, so the retailers have no options. Okay, so they need to use either water transportation or air transportation. Okay, water transportation is also cheaper compared to air transportation, but then water transportation is time consuming. Okay. So what else? I think you can see around you the differences of the transportation that being used in the logistic process. Okay, we can see how many trucks used to carry a lot of goods. Okay, in their sometimes they lost so many goods, so it also put them at the dangerous. Okay, but the beside, I think the transportation systems in the logistic also need to look into the safety matter, because if anything happened uh, due to accidents, okay, and so on, it will incur costs to the organization. Okay, this figure shows the transportation planning and strategy. Okay, so actually, it is divided into two sides of in terms of controlling the transportation. Okay, in terms of planning and strategize the transportation, it is depending to the buyer's responsibility and also seller's responsibility. And of course, in terms of before they decide on the transportation types of transportation, how about the cost, how about the traffic congestion, how in terms of marketing. Okay, then need to look, both sides need to look into the negotiation in terms of sale. Okay, decision to outsource the transportation, in terms of selection of the types of transportation, types of the carrier selection. Okay, and they need to negotiations in ensure that they are able to uh, efficiently and effectively transport the goods, and in ensure that the transportation itself is not delayed. Okay, not having such problems. Okay, so all these things sometimes need to be consider a few matters before they decide on the kind of transportation that will be used in transporting the goods. Okay.